Pancreatic cancer is a word that, for many, sends a chill down the spine. It's not just another illness, it's one of the most formidable and silent threats to our health, often lurking in the shadows until it's advanced beyond easy reach. Today, I want to have an honest conversation about pancreatic cancer and, more importantly, the 7 early warning signs you should never brush aside. If there's one thing I've learned through decades of living, working, and observing life's patterns, it's that paying attention to subtle changes in our bodies can sometimes make all the difference. This isn't just another lecture. I want you to walk away tonight feeling informed, empowered, and ready to act if you spot something unusual. Let's be clear right from the start. Pancreatic cancer is one of the deadliest forms of cancer out there. Not because it's impossible to treat, but because it's so often detected far too late. They call it the silent killer, and for good reason. Most folks don't experience clear symptoms until the cancer has advanced, making early detection both challenging and crucial. I've seen too many friends, neighbors, and family members ignore those gentle nudges from their bodies, only to find themselves facing a diagnosis when options are limited. That's why we're having this talk. If you know what to look for, you stand a much better chance of catching pancreatic cancer before it has a chance to do its worst. Now, I know conversations about cancer can feel heavy and daunting, but I promise you, this isn't just about fear. It's about hope, knowledge, and taking control. I want you to listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. Whether you're here for yourself, someone you care about, or just out of curiosity, I hope you'll stick with me. Because what we're about to discuss could save a life, maybe even yours. Let's dive in. What are the 7 early warning signs of pancreatic cancer that you should never ignore? The first sign is something that catches a lot of people off guard: sudden, unexplained weight loss. I'm not talking about dropping a few pounds after cutting out sweets or ramping up your walks around the neighborhood. No, this kind of weight loss sneaks up when you're not even trying. You look in the mirror one morning and realize your clothes are hanging looser, your belt needs a new notch, and you haven't made any changes to your diet or exercise routine. The pancreas is deeply involved in how your body digests food and regulates blood sugar. So, if something's going wrong in that part of your system, it can mess with your appetite and the way your body absorbs nutrients. You might find yourself eating normally or even less than usual, yet the pounds keep slipping away. It's an alarm bell that's easy to dismiss, but trust me, it's worth investigating. The second early sign is persistent abdominal pain. This isn't the sharp, cramping pain you get from a bad meal or a stomach bug. It's more like a dull ache that settles in your belly and refuses to leave. Sometimes, the pain radiates to your back or even up to your left shoulder. It might start off mild, but over time, it becomes a constant companion. You notice it more after meals, when your digestive system is working harder. That's because a tumor in the pancreas can press against nerves and surrounding tissues, making every bite feel uncomfortable. If you find yourself dreading mealtime or taking painkillers just to get through the day, don't ignore it.
The third warning sign is jaundice. You might notice the whites of your eyes turning a yellowish shade, or your skin developing a subtle golden tint. Your urine may take on a darker, rusty color, and your stools might look pale or greasy. These changes are due to bile backing up into the bloodstream because the pancreatic duct is blocked or inflamed. Bile is essential for digesting fats, so if it can't flow properly, your digestion suffers. Sometimes, people notice they can't tolerate fatty foods anymore, feeling bloated or nauseous after eating them. Jaundice isn't just a cosmetic issue, it's a sign your liver and pancreas aren't working together as they should. The sooner you get it checked out, the better. The fourth sign is chronic diarrhea. Now, diarrhea can be caused by all sorts of things: stress, food poisoning, medications. But in the case of pancreatic cancer, it's a persistent, greasy kind of diarrhea that doesn't respond to usual remedies. The pancreas produces enzymes that help break down food, especially fats. When it's compromised, those enzymes are in short supply, and your digestive system struggles to process what you eat. You might notice your stools are floating, oily, and foul-smelling. It's not a pleasant subject, but it's one that deserves attention. If you've been battling diarrhea for weeks and nothing seems to help, it's time to have a conversation with your doctor. The fifth early warning sign is diabetes, especially if it appears suddenly and you don't have a family history or obvious risk factors. The pancreas is responsible for producing insulin, which keeps your blood sugar in check. If a tumor starts interfering with those cells, you might experience symptoms like increased thirst, frequent urination, or unexplained fatigue. Sometimes, people with long-standing diabetes notice their blood sugar control suddenly worsens, despite sticking to their medications and diet. It's a subtle shift, but one that warrants closer inspection. If your diabetes management suddenly feels like an uphill battle, ask your doctor to look closer at your pancreas. The sixth sign is feeling full very quickly. You sit down to a meal, take a few bites, and suddenly you're done, stuffed, bloated, and uncomfortable. This isn't typical overeating. It's a sensation that comes on fast, even when you haven't eaten much. The reason is simple. A tumor in the pancreas can press against the stomach or intestines, making it harder for food to make its way through the digestive tract. You might start skipping meals or snacking instead, just to avoid the discomfort. But remember, chronic bloating and early satiety are not normal. If these symptoms persist, don't chalk them up to aging or stress. The seventh and final warning sign is persistent fatigue. Now, I know most of us over 60 feel tired from time to time. Life has a way of wearing us down. But this type of fatigue is different. It's not relieved by a good night's sleep or a lazy Sunday afternoon. It's a bone-deep exhaustion that lingers, making everyday tasks feel like climbing a mountain. You might find yourself taking more naps, skipping activities you once enjoyed, or struggling to concentrate. When fatigue becomes a constant companion and no amount of rest seems to help, it's time to pay attention. Now, let's pause for a moment and talk about why pancreatic cancer is so unique and why these early signs matter so much. Unlike some other cancers, pancreatic cancer usually strikes later in life, often after age 40, 50, or even 60. It's aggressive, tenacious, and unfortunately, once symptoms appear, it may already be advanced. The outer layer of pancreatic tumors is thick and dense, making them resistant to both oxygen and treatment. That lack of oxygen inside the tumor can actually encourage it to spread faster, creating a vicious cycle. Another unique aspect is the role of inflammation. Years of chronic inflammation, often due to poor diet, obesity, smoking, or heavy drinking, can set the stage for cancer to develop in the pancreas. It's a reminder that our lifestyle choices matter, even if the consequences aren't immediate. If you smoke, your risk of pancreatic cancer jumps by about 25%. If you're overweight or have type 2 diabetes, your odds go up as well. Genetics can play a part, but those genes are often triggered by environmental factors. It's not just about what you inherit, it's about what you expose your body to over time.
So, what can you do to protect yourself and lower your risk? The answer isn't complicated, but it does require commitment. First, pay attention to your body. Don't dismiss changes as just getting older or something that will pass. If you notice any of the 7 warning signs we've talked about, sudden weight loss, persistent abdominal pain, jaundice, chronic diarrhea, new-onset diabetes, feeling full quickly, or relentless fatigue, make an appointment with your doctor. Insist on a thorough evaluation. Early detection can mean the difference between life and death. Second, take care of your pancreas. Give it the rest it deserves by practicing intermittent fasting. Eating 3, 6, or more meals a day puts constant stress on your digestive system. When you fast, even for brief periods, you give your pancreas a chance to recover and reduce inflammation. Make sure you get enough sleep, stay physically active, and manage your stress. Chronic stress can weaken your immune system and make you more vulnerable to disease. Third, consider what you're eating. Cut down on refined carbohydrates and sugars. They fuel inflammation and make it harder for your pancreas to do its job. Load up on cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. Drink green tea, and don't forget about garlic, which contains a compound called allicin that may help protect against cancer. Berberine, a natural supplement, has also shown promise in mimicking the effects of certain diabetes medications and reducing cancer risk. Fourth, don't overlook the power of vitamin D. Research shows that maintaining a high blood level of vitamin D can support your immune system and help shrink tumors. If you're at risk for pancreatic cancer or dealing with any type of chronic illness, ask your doctor to check your vitamin D levels and discuss whether supplementation is right for you. Finally, remember that prevention is always better than cure. We live in a world that's constantly telling us to ignore our bodies, push through the pain, and keep moving forward. But sometimes, the greatest act of strength is to pause, listen, and respond. Just like that story I mentioned earlier about seeing hawks circling overhead on my farm and finding a newborn lamb stuck in the bushes, we have to pay attention to the warning signs. Ignoring them doesn't make the problem go away. It only gives it time to get worse. So, what should you do next? First, commit to being vigilant about your health. Don't let fear or denial keep you from seeking help when something feels off. Second, share what you've learned tonight with the people you care about. Pancreatic cancer doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone. The more we talk about these warning signs, the more lives we can save. As we wrap up, I want you to remember that knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your health. Don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and demand answers. You deserve the best possible care, and that starts with being informed. If you're feeling uncertain, don't wait. Reach out to your healthcare provider, get the tests you need, and advocate for yourself. Life is precious, and every day is an opportunity to make choices that support your well-being. If you found this conversation valuable, I urge you to take action right now. Subscribe to stay updated on important health topics, because I'll be sharing more insights that matter to folks like us. Leave a comment below if you have questions, stories, or experiences to share. Your voice can help others feel less alone on their journey. And most importantly, share this message with friends, family, and anyone who needs to hear it. Together, we can spread awareness, encourage early detection, and make a real difference in the fight against pancreatic cancer. Stay vigilant, stay hopeful, and remember, you're stronger than you think. Take charge of your health, listen to your body, and never ignore the signs that matter. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to walking this path with you.